Let's start by welcoming Mr. Kiran Vyas, a French yoga instructor and Ayurveda practitioner known for introducing Ayurveda in France and Europe in the 1980s. He is the founder of the Tapovan Open University of Yoga and Ayurveda, where he promotes a holistic approach to health that unites body, mind, and spirit. He has also worked with UNESCO and several NGOs as a yoga instructor. And now the important information. In 2024, he was awarded the most prestigious award in India, called Padma Shri, from the President of India himself. Mr. Vyas, you may begin. Vyas, I'm sorry, you may begin.
Namaste. Om Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Satyamayi Parame Om Tat Savitur Varam Rupam Jyotihi Parasya Dhimahi Yannaha Satyena Deepayet Om Asatu ma sadgamaya, tamasu ma jyotirgamaya, mrityur ma amrutam gamaya. Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. Here are my parents. And this photo was taken in 1944 in the month of February. And I was born in March 1944. So I believe I am here in this photo. And my father and mother, they were working. Oh, sorry. You can't see it. Okay. No, perhaps I prefer standing this side. This is all right? So I believe I was very much present when my parents were working with Gandhiji, the great Gandhi, and my father had the responsibility of education. But at the same time, the whole world was in the World War and fighting for the liberty, fighting that the human being gets his own rights. At the same time, an Indian allopathic doctor, a colleague or a collegian friend of my father. In fact, when I came to France in 1975, I went to see him. And I was surprised that not only he was practicing allopathy, but he had acquired knowledge of Ayurveda, homeopathy, naturopathy, and acupuncture. He had a beautiful clinic in London, but the most beautiful thing was near Southampton, a farmhouse. So in this farmhouse, he received patients, and what he asked them, that please meditate, do I want to be cured? Do I want to be cured? Then we went on roaming around in his garden, and we were in front of a small church. Then I said, oh, is this the church? He said, it used to be a church, but now, in fact, I advise my patients just for 3 days have only water to drink and only to sleep, vari and nidra. no other medicine. Just think whether you want to be cured. And then he turned towards me and said, you know, your father polluted me with the thoughts of great leaders like Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, Ma Anandamayi. But the one who touched him was Raman Maharshi. And then the question came up, who am I? Can I really be a patient? Am I a body? Am I a soul? Am I a person who can cure a person? Or the person cures himself? Many questions came to my mind. Am I body, Atman, or soul? Well, my life continued with Gandhiji's ashram. My father was given the responsibility of education, and he created a system of 3H. H for head, H for heart, H for hands. With the hands you work, with the heart you feel and create, and with the head you learn. But at the same time, he had many friends in the field of health, because my father was in charge of education, but his friends were in charge of health. And then allopathic, Ayurvedic, homeopathy. He himself, Gandhiji himself, was very much interested in the natural therapies with water, and the clay therapy. And he also liked, to drink goat's milk and not cow's milk. At present, you will understand the theory of cow's milk and goat milk, whereas in 40s in India it was, and he liked massages. Gandhiji, and 48 minutes. Much later on, my father was receiving by the same massage technician, let's say, and we would see that without seeing any clock, the massages would finish in 48 minutes. So I was just wondering, what is this 48 minutes? But then I understood that it was calculated according to the universal timings, 12 minutes, 14 minutes, and after 48 minutes, it seems that all our energies start coming down. In fact, Gandhiji, he said, it is health that is real wealth, and not pieces of gold and silver. So this is what I learned from him, and I went forward. But at the same time, before I started my education, I learned also in the same place the urinotherapy, then Panchagavya, that is to say the 5 things with the cow's urine, cow's dung, then cow's ghee and milk and yogurt, means the 5 things which can cure you. And it's a very important therapy. Later on, I studied in the ashram of Sri Aurobindo in the integral education with physical, vital, mental, psychic, and spiritual growth. And for me, the inner growth was and is, I consider, one of the most important things for all of us who have taken birth on this earth at this very moment. One of my Asan teachers, Ambu, here he is at the age of 78. And the very first time when I went to him, he asked me to remain in the lotus position for 3 hours. And when I passed his examination, I could go forward. But later on, I started my life as a scientist because I studied mathematics and physics, of course, along with the hobby like Ayurveda and yoga. But as a scientist, I didn't find interest because the space research was also the military research. So I resigned but this is an interesting photo for me because in 23, when this Somnathan, when he could go to the moon, and then I was happy to give him a prestigious prize at Calcutta at the governor's bungalow in presence of but my inspiration, not as scientific and allopathic inspiration, but Tagore for my creativity, Gandhiji, the mother Sri Aurobindo, and the great violinist Yehudi Menuhin. But after a few years of experiences in the field of education at UNESCO and other places, I decided to be in the field of yoga and Ayurveda. So the foundation of Tapovan took place in 1982, then first in Paris, then in Normandy, and we did practices of yoga and Ayurveda and developed into a university. A living example of the use of alternative energies and respect for the environment. Like any other person living on earth, I would say our first duty is towards the Mother Earth. If the earth is in good health, we will be in good health. And therefore, let us take care of the earth. Let us take care of each and every plant. Of course, in Normandy, and we have many lessons, many programs of studying, but what I would like each and every human being to learn is the humility first, sincerity, and the things like that. In fact, once I was speaking from the UNESCO's table about education and the decision-making in education, and at that time, Mrs. Thatcher was listening to me. At that time, she was Minister of Education. Later on, she became the Iron Lady of England and Prime Minister. And she liked my wordings on what a decision maker should be. That is, he needs to have depth. So Tapovan, like any other Ayurvedic center, would be practicing different things in Ayurveda, different massage therapies, different panchakarma therapies, different things. But with a view of the global understanding of the human being, because human being is just not the body, he is an integral thing. And naturally, it depends on the three vectors, three main principles of ahara, vihara, and manovyapara. Ahara means dietetics. It's a big field. We need to study. But what is most interesting, I was interested right from my childhood about what to eat and what not to eat. But I found every 5 years or 10 years, the theory used to change. What was good today, after 5 years, they would say, oh, please don't take that. It's not that good. Then again, after 5 years, then to my friends and my students, I always tell them, I chose Ayurveda because the food theory has not changed since last 5,000 years. But, well, vihara, how we lead our life, and naturally manovyapara, what is our mental state. That is one of the most important things. Let us be quiet, peaceful, and inwardly announce. Meditation and the practice of yoga nidra are the integral part of any therapy or any therapist or any curist or any patient. I was surprised in the year 2000, there was in the journal Le Monde, there were writing which said that this person discovered this therapy, the osteopathy, homeopathy, right from 1700 it started. And I was surprised. At the end, they put, this one. An Indian named Kiran Vyas started a center called Tapovan in Paris for promoting Ayurveda. I was really touched and thrilled to hear this. And I will just more or less finish by saying one day, about 30 years ago, two young girls, or rather ladies, they were finishing their studies, one in the Ayurveda, what is called BAMS, and other was in MBBS. And naturally, the allopathic doctor was saying that, oh, you people don't know anything. It is not scientific. It is not correct. You are old-style people. Then the other girl, who was a BMS student, she was annoyed. And then she said, but you have studied only the dead bodies. And Ayush or Ayu means life. We study life. And then you have just the chemicals as medicines, but we have the true plants. And truly, even when it is the metal medicine, we prepare, we put energy into it. And then that putting up the energy is equally important than just this. So I was just smiling inside my mind that how the two young doctors, allopathic and Ayurvedic, were discussing. But for me, I would just say that here in Europe, education and health are the two systems where European Commission doesn't have the right to say anything as yet. And they give each country its own, each country has its own philosophy and practice of education and health. Just from this, I would just like to increase and say that let each individual patient must have his or her own philosophy and practice of health and well-being, because we should be able to choose if we have the right to go to the supermarket and choose which brand, what substance, how. Similarly, we will choose among these 100 doctors which one to take. Oh, here is an Ayurvedic expert. Oh, but he's a philosopher. I feel much better with him. And I'll just give you an example. One day I went in the east of France, and the family to which I went, there were two doctors in that family. The lady who was not well, that's what they told me, she was an artist. Her husband had a chemist shop. Another people of the family were doctors. And then I asked, what's happening? They just said, oh, my mother this morning, she was not well. She was just coughing, and the ribs broke down. So we took her to the hospital. And then her son, who was working at Villejuif, the cancer specialist, he whispered in my ears, oh, my mother now, she has 3 or 6 months to live. Okay, I just went to her and talked only about the art. And the same evening, in her room, the big professor of medicine was there, listening about Van Gogh and Monet and Delacroix. We were talking only about the art. And then she told me the next morning, oh, I felt so nice yesterday you came. I must do my exhibition in the month of December. It was month of June. And I just looked at his son. He said, oh, that wouldn't be possible. But anyway, but she did the exhibition in the month of December, and she lived 20 years more after that. With all around the earth, she had her exhibitions. So what art can do, we do not know. Yesterday, the harp was being played. I was just wondering, how many strings are there in this instrument? Then I just thought of me. How many strings are there within me? And if somebody could just tune them up and play with this inner being of mine, some beautiful music, I will certainly become a good person. So let us, the idea came to me, how to tune these strings which are within us. So I bow down to our great, great person, our Thomas Pfeiffer. He's trying to pull your strings in two manners, just to tune them up, and so that each and every one of us, we could become a great therapist, but before that, we could become a good human being. And naturally on the subject of Ayurveda, subject of physics, subject of universe, so many excellent and exponent people have spoken. I will not speak, but if the day comes, if you want, I can do that also and put out the theories with a great honor and respect to all of you. Thank you. Just a minute. I don't know whether slides are remaining. Yeah, so doctors, healers, teachers, and spiritual guides, for me, are just the helpers. Each one can help us, but the work has to be done by oneself. So each and every one of us, let us work, and thanks to our dear Dr. Thomas Pfeiffer and his team. And this rose is from my garden. So I just took a picture before coming here so that I substituted Bhaswati's time, you know. I took little less time.
I would like to express...
No, it's okay, it's okay.
We have 3 minutes time. We have 3 minutes time, Mr. Bhattacharya.
No.
Allow me to express my recognition to India for finding such a great personality, for giving him the title Padma Shri. Congratulations.
Jo, ale já si tu větu nepamatuju. So we get over our congratulations to India. That he find such a nice soul for the title Padma Shri. So congratulations again. Yeah.